Welcome to the instructional video for the Gateway to Certified Local Governments web application. To start, navigating around the application is fairly simple. It works like most other web mapping applications you may have come across. Click and drag to pan the map around. You can either zoom in using the plus and minus tools here, or you can scroll up and down on your mouse or trackpad, and that will achieve the same result. Clicking the home button here will take you to the default view, or what's also known as the default extent. Clicking back takes you to the previous view you were at, and then you can use forward to return to that view. Some of the icons up here, just to familiarize yourself with them. This is the help and instructions tool, which pulls up quick tips, a link back to this video, and a 2-page supplementary PDF, which goes over the same topics. The layer tool, which we'll discuss in a moment. Share, which lets you share a link to this application on social media or embed it in your site. Select, which lets you select specific data in the map, and print, which lets you print the map view as it currently stands. The legend for the map is over here on the left. You can hide it by clicking this arrow here or toggle it back on. It's only showing layers and data that are visible at this extent. So that means that if we zoom in and new data appears, like this National Heritage Area here, then it starts to appear on the legend as well. And when we zoom back out, it disappears. Some data only shows up after you've zoomed in so far. You can change that by using the layer tool here up in the top right. Layers that have a blue check mark are active. Layers that do not have a blue check mark are inactive. They won't show up on the map. Layers with gray text are not visible at this current extent or zoom, and you'd have to zoom in or out to see them, just like the National Heritage Areas. So when we zoom back in, then National Heritage Areas becomes visible, the text becomes black. If we wanted to see the National Heritage Areas on top of the CLGs instead of underneath the CLGs, we could actually move the layer up or down on this list, and eventually we can move it all the way up in front of CLGs so that the yellow is displayed over the green, over the blue. Other things you can change with this layer tool, the transparency, you can change the visibility. So if we wanted National Heritage Areas to show up at a more zoomed out view, we could actually bring this all the way beyond the black arrow, and you see they start to show up here, and vice versa. If we wanted them to show up smaller, we would drag them further over here. Now, all of this is temporary. As soon as you refresh the page or come back, all of these will be returned to their default settings. So there's no concern about changing the default loadout of the application, but you also want to be mindful when you're working, if you're trying to create a specific view for a printout or a presentation, refreshing the application means that all of that work would need to be redone to get the map presented the way you wanted to. The last tool I'll cover is called the Gateway Community Locator, located up here in the top left. This tool is designed to help certified local governments determine national park sites that are within 60 miles of their community. CLGs that are within 60 miles of a national park site are gateway communities for that national park. And the hope with this application is that it stirs conversation and collaboration between CLGs that are being awarded HPF funding for historic preservation. And we want them to collaborate, connect, and help highlight that historic preservation with National Park Service sites that they're gateway communities for, that they're near to. There are two ways to use this Gateway Community Locator tool. The more simple way is just by selecting a point. So we can select a point here, and it'll zoom in. We've selected Roanoke, and it will show me all the certified local governments that are within 60 miles of this point, and all the National Park Service sites that are within 60 miles of this point. And this works well. We can see that there are 3 National Park Service sites within 60 miles of Roanoke. But the other way to use this tool, the way to get a little bit more of an accurate result, is to actually type in the CLG here to the map. And Roanoke is a kind of circular boundary, but you can kind of tell here, you can see it kind of dip in a little bit, but the 60-mile boundary is now 60 miles from the boundary of the data layer itself instead of just the point. And again, it pulls up that Roanoke is a gateway community for 3 different National Park Service sites. So the BRP, the Appalachian Trail, and the Booker T. Washington National Monument. I encourage you to play around with this application. It's designed to be something that stirs conversation, whether it be between CLGs and parks, between CLGs themselves, or between parks, or any of our wonderful partners that can access this application. If you have any questions, feel free to email stlpg@nps.gov. Or again, always you can refer back to the 2-page PDF guide or the video guide here. Thanks for watching and enjoy the application.